This is the cleanest PC we have ever designed and built, and it may be hard to pinpoint exactly why this rig has an unusual tidiness, neatness, and ultimately refinement.
Michael, how are you, guy?
Lawrence, I found something really interesting.
If you look closely at the motherboard and graphics card in this PC, you'll notice something. There are no connectors visible on the front of the board and similarly none visible on the graphics card, all made possible with Gigabyte's new Project Stealth. With this motherboard and graphics card from this collection, all the connectors sit at the back, hidden from sight, so we get this great minimalist aesthetic look, but also a new level of unimpeded airflow. But we've combined it with one other component to keep up this ultra clean illusion, the new Lian Li HydroShift 2 CPU cooler. Normally, we would compromise our clutter-free look with the AIO tubes running out through the middle of this rig, but now instead they run straight up and are screwed behind the radiator. But let's get into the build process. To kick things off, we have the new Lian Li O11 Mini V2. This new case is one of the smallest fish tank enclosures that can fit a variety of ATX components and a 360mm cooler. Diverting from the original O11 Mini is this slanted bottom intake, which grants this case improved airflow, and we have this flush glass finish at the front, whereas previously it was framed. Most importantly maybe, this case, as with many Lian Li chassis, has a fantastic build quality. Now, I'll begin this build with the motherboard from Aorus, or most importantly from their Stealth lineup. This is the top of the line AMD edition in white, the X870 Stealth Ice. When this pioneering design was previewed just over 3 years ago, many thought it would be a pipe dream. The retooling of not only Gigabyte's motherboard machining lines, along with the case manufacturers to come on board, ensuring their chassis were compatible with this new design, made it seem like just another interesting concept that would come and go. But because this design vastly improves cable appearance, thus by extension improving the airflow of the rig, and ultimately at the end of the day making the PC so clean, this technology has actually hit the ground running. Now for the heartbeat of this PC. Matching the total high-end nature of this rig, we've got the best all-around CPU on the market, the Ryzen 9 9950 X3D. AMD's 3D V-Cache tech has now proven itself again as the best, dominating Intel in gaming-related performance. But this flagship 9000 series chip has mastered both CPU disciplines, gaming and productivity alike. But while the X3D tech delivers incredible gaming performance, it's a tricky technical challenge to preserve very strong productivity performance alongside. The X3D tech mastered single-core speeds, but new drivers and techniques ensured multi-threaded speeds that are just as strong as its blistering gaming rate. The motherboard was completed with a 4TB SSD and 32GB of 6000 speed white G.Skill RAM. And even at this stage of the build, you can see clearly just how squared away everything is. Now I can unbox the Lian Li HydroShift 2. While there has been some improvement in the performance of liquid coolers in recent years, and increasingly complex CPU blocks with different designs and LCD screens, this cooler continues a new line of innovation, much like the innovation from Aorus' Stealth line. By routing the tubing along the radiator edge, we can minimize cabling in this PC to the greatest extent possible. Now for the gaming power behind this PC. The Aorus Stealth RTX 5090. 3 years ago when the Stealth line was previewed, the card with the hidden cable feature was the RTX 3070, a slightly odd choice from Gigabyte that drew questions from reviewers, as customers would need to pay a premium for the Stealth feature, but would be paying this premium for an intermediate graphics card. However, this time around, Gigabyte has amended this, matching the premium hidden design choice with the most premium consumer GPU there is, and it's totally in white, another aesthetic benefit for this PC. However, just because this Aorus card is a stealth model, it is certainly not small. It is a mammoth 4 slots thick, but the Lian Li V2 comes with a very sturdy GPU support bracket. But I actually like to see the card taking up all this room. Because this case is M-ATX, everything looks quite dense and space optimized. This is the first time I've built a PC with the cable-free look, but it's already one of my personal favorites, and I really see this kind of design becoming something similar to ITX PCs in terms of popularity. It has the same neat but put together energy that a well-designed mini rig has. The Stealth line may remain a niche choice, but similar to how ITX customers pay more for compact builds with the same performance, some high-end buyers would be willing to pay a premium for hidden cable designs simply because they value the cleaner, more minimalist aesthetic. I'm going to run this rig through some temperature tests. Now this is still a fish tank chassis, which are infamously known for getting hot, but the new features in the Lian Li V2, combined with the Stealth components, should prevent it becoming a hotbox. Now after 30 minutes on Furmark at full stress, the 5090 maxed out at a very low 67.8 degrees. This case, plus no cable, cables and the massive cooler on the GPU put in some serious work. Now for the CPU temps. These high-end Ryzen chips are somewhat known for getting hot, but this rig performed great. This Lian Li cooler is a solid 360mm piece of kit. Besides its innovative design, it does the basics very well, with class-leading thermal performance. So the CPU peaked at a very solid 68.1 degrees. I'd love to do some more builds with the stealth parts from Aorus, and in the Lian Li O11 Mini V2. The O11 has sort of been the uncrowned king of gaming chassis, and in some respects, the V2 re-establishes that. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one.